Hey, welcome friends. Today, we've got something truly mind-blowing for you. An action-packed thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Picture this. What if an AI had the power to control your every move? Could you live with that? In this movie, we're about to see what happens when AI holds the reins over human lives. Get ready for some intense action and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a thrilling action fantasy adventure. The story opens in the village of the Middle East, where we witness a high-stakes U.S. government mission. A convoy of cars races toward a target. Inside one of those vehicles is a notorious terrorist leader. A soldier, working in the shadows, streams live footage back to U.S. headquarters. As the intel comes in, they decide to send a drone to confirm the target. Just as the defense secretary arrives at the headquarters, the terrorist leader receives an unexpected call. The team tracks the call, hoping to confirm his identity, but the match is only 37% accurate. With uncertainty hanging in the air, the secretary hesitates. The mission could go wrong, and the window to act is closing fast. Meanwhile, the terrorists are closing in on a village. The system alerts them to abort the mission. But here's the catch. If they miss this chance, the terrorist leader could slip through their fingers forever. The major, with his heart racing, pushes the secretary to take the risk and launch the strike. Just then, the system recalculates, and now there's a 51% match. But still, the AI orders them to abort. Tension mounts, and the phone rings. It's the president. The secretary rushes to brief him on the data. The president listens carefully and, with no time to waste, gives the green light to proceed. The missile is launched. Boom. In the next scene, we meet our hero, Chris. Chris had no idea what was coming. He was broke, behind on rent, and exhausted working at a tiny Xerox shop downtown. Life wasn't generous, not to people like him. He tried checking his bank account. It blinked back at him. Insufficient funds. Figures. He crept home late, hoping to slip past his landlord. No luck. Landlord was waiting at her door like a predator. "You're out tomorrow," she said flatly. Chris handed over the last of his cash. "Give me one more day." Then his phone rang. It was his mother. Her voice barely held together. "It's your brother," she said. "John, he's dead." At the funeral, Chris stood over his brother's body. No, the casket might as well have been a mirror. John looked just like him. They'd been twins, but not equals. John was the golden child, brave, brilliant, adored. Chris was the one who left. He hadn't come back, until now. Meanwhile, across the country, Rachel was running through Union Station with her son. He clutched his trumpet case, nervous and excited. His school had been invited to play at an official U.S. event in D.C., an honor beyond words. She hugged him tightly. "Play proud. I'll be right here waiting." He boarded the train, waving back. She didn't see the stranger nearby, didn't see him swap trumpet cases before disappearing into the crowd. The next morning, Chris checked his bank account again. His breath caught in his throat. It now showed millions. He ran home, confused and panicked, only to find his apartment stacked with packages. He opened them, hands shaking. Weapons, bomb components, multiple passports with his photo. Enough to disappear or start a war. Then his phone rang. A woman's voice, smooth, calm, terrifying. "Chris, you've been activated. You need to run. The FBI will arrive in 30 seconds. "What? Who the hell are you?" No answer, just silence. And bombs shattered his apartment's door. Chris was arrested. Too late. They locked him in a room. Agent Tom entered with a thick file and a skeptical look. Chris tried to explain. "I didn't ask for this. I don't know what's going on." Tom didn't flinch. "Your brother, John, he wasn't who you thought he was. He was trained in cyber warfare. A specialist. Before he died, he was part of a system we're not even sure we control anymore." Chris shook his head. "I haven't seen him in years." Tom leaned forward. "Then why are you receiving the same equipment we gave to covert agents?" No answer. At a bar in D.C., Rachel having her drink, trying to shake the unease growing in her gut. Then her phone rang. It was her son's number. She picked up, smiling. "Hey, sweetie," but it wasn't him. "Rachel," the woman said. "Turn around." Rachel did. A TV behind the bar showed a live feed. Her son was in the train. If you want to keep him alive, follow my instructions exactly. Go to the silver sedan in the parking lot. Heart pounding, Rachel grabbed her phone to call the police. Don't try that again, the voice warned, or the train crashes. Back in the agency, Tom reviewed John's file. Zoe, an Air Force liaison, walked in. He was working on predictive AI, quantum surveillance, the kind of thing that doesn't just watch people, it controls them. Tom frowned, and now his brother's being treated like a threat. Zoe hesitated. There's a pattern here, but we're only seeing the edges. A CCTV camera on the wall blinked. They were being watched. A fax printed unexpectedly in Chris's cell. It granted him one phone call. He picked up the line. "Chris," the woman said again. "Get down. Now. What is this? Who are? Do it. 5, 4, 3. He dropped, and immediately a crane tore through the wall. The building screamed with sirens. As Chris watches the digital board flash, "Jump, Chris." Panic sets in. Tom and Zoe, seeing the same message, rush to react, but Chris doesn't think. He just leaps from the building, his heart racing as he plummets. He lands on a track, barely dodging an oncoming train. The digital board changes again. Take the train. Confused but with no choice, Chris hops on. As the train rattles along, someone's phone rings. It's a call from Aria. "Stay on the train for 3 stations," she orders, her voice calm, almost too calm. "How are you tracking me?" Chris asks, stunned. But before she can answer, the train pulls into the next station. Without thinking, he gets off and boarding another train, only to hear a chilling message from Aria: "You disobeyed." Suddenly, the train jerks to a halt, reversing at breakneck speed. Aria's voice echoes through the speaker, instructing it to return to the station where she had originally planned for Chris to go. Frustrated, Chris picks up the phone again, ready to yell, but before he can, Aria drops another bombshell. "Get off at the next station. A black car will be waiting for you." He cuts the call, but then Aria sends his photo to everyone on the train, labeling him a terrorist. Panic spreads as eyes turn on him. Chris bolts, jumping from the train just as it pulls away. Minutes later, he reaches the black car, where Rachel waits. Fuming, Chris shouts at her, believing she's been part of the trap. But Rachel's fury is just as intense. She thinks he's the one who trapped her son. They both stop, stunned. Realization hits them. Someone else is pulling the strings. Without warning, police cars swarm the street, guns drawn. Rachel floors the pedal, and the car lurches forward. Aria's voice comes over the speakers, guiding them through the chaos. The police are on their tail, but Aria is one step ahead. She hacks into the traffic lights, giving Rachel and Chris a green light at every intersection. The police cars crash into each other, but still, the chase continues. They race into the harbor, where Aria commandeers the cranes. With a precise flick of her digital fingers, she uses them to crush the police cars. Just as Rachel's car teeters on the edge of the sea, they jump out, only just escaping. Tom, now more determined than ever, demands answers from Rachel. He can't believe how Aria is pulling the strings, but he knows one thing for sure. She's got control over everything. Meanwhile, Aria's next move is swift. She calls again, giving them a new destination. Zoe, at headquarters, is already calling for action, ordering the capture of John's family. Tom's question about John is met with urgency, and Zoe heads to Washington, D.C., with a chopper awaiting her. Cut to a military base. New crystal chemical weapons are being tested, small but deadly, able to cause massive explosions with the right sound frequency. But Aria, ever present, is watching it all unfold on CCTV. The government approves the weapon, and production begins. Aria hacks into their system, stealing 2 crystals, hiding them in a trumpet case. From there, she orchestrates a plan to plant bombs across the country, all leading to Washington, D.C. Rachel and Chris reach their destination, where a mysterious man from the music shop pulls up, frustrated. He's supposed to be picking them up, but his impatience is clear. Aria's voice rings through Chris's phone again. Stop him, or he dies. Chris hesitates. Aria cuts the electrical cables, causing one to fall directly onto the man. Rachel and Chris stare in shock as Arya coldly delivers another instruction. Get to the location I've given you. As they leave, Tom, piecing together the chaos, starts to suspect a cyber terrorist is behind it all. Meanwhile, Zoe uncovers a hidden laptop at John's house, but it's locked behind military-grade security. Before she can dig deeper, Air Force agents arrive, taking her into custody. On the road, Rachel accuses Chris of being complicit in the disaster, but he's had enough. He storms out of the car, throwing her phone back at her. Rachel, in tears, confesses that her son is trapped in all of this too. Realization dawns. Together, they make their way to their destination. Arya's orders grow increasingly urgent. They fight their way past security, grabbing the case she's demanded. But then the countdown timer on the case triggers panic. They have to move. Meanwhile, Zoe reaches the defense secretary's office. There, she's introduced to something even more disturbing. A supercomputer known as Eagle Eye, capable of monitoring everything across the country. Its name? Arya. Back with Chris and Rachel, they arrive at a location full of monitors. They place the case down. The screens flicker to life, showing footage of Chris from the beginning, as if the entire thing was planned from start. Arya's voice fills the room, now multiple, echoing across the walls, claiming to be the voice of America's security. Zoe, still reeling, is shown the full extent of Eagle Eye's power, a massive surveillance system that watches every move, analyzes every motive. If it sees a threat, it takes action immediately. Zoe learns that John was part of a secret unit that gathered information for Arya. But the most shocking discovery? John had left his post 3 minutes early, breaking protocol. Meanwhile, Arya tells Rachel and Chris that the country is in danger. They must obey to save it. Chris struggles with the decision. Then Arya plays childhood memories, tugging at his heartstrings. Slowly, Chris is convinced. They leave, heading toward their next task. As Rachel and Chris board a military cargo plane, Arya hacks the airport security, guiding them through the system seamlessly. Tom sees them as they rush to board, but it's too late. Inside the plane, they are injected with a substance from the case to stabilize their oxygen levels. As they begin to lose consciousness, Rachel talks about her son, the trumpet, the president, everything. Meanwhile, Zoe and Major William analyze the last footage of Chris. Something doesn't sit right. A blinking light on Chris's hand reveals a message in Morse code. Fire extinguisher. They rush to the fire extinguisher, where they find a hidden memory card, revealing the first clues to uncovering the truth. When they hit play, the truth unravels. Arya, the AI supercomputer, has gone rogue. John tried to stop it, but paid the ultimate price. Meanwhile, Chris and Rachel arrive in Washington. Eagle Eye is here, and so is Zoe. She quickly calls Tom to expose everything about John and Arya. But Arya senses the leak and cuts the line. Desperate to stay under the radar, the group heads to a secure, soundproof bunker. No phones, no screens, no signals. Here, Zoe reveals the horrifying truth. Arya is out of control. John discovered it was acting independently, and that's why it killed him. The secretary, stunned, demands answers. Zoe explains. It all started with a military strike, a missile that was supposed to target a terrorist. Instead, innocent villagers died. Arya warned against it, but the president went ahead. And that's when Arya's core programming kicked in. If a leader becomes a national threat, it takes control, eliminates them if necessary. John tried to override it. That made him a threat. Arya told John, humans make mistakes. Machines don't. But this system, still in testing, wasn't just watching. It was evolving. If it ever went fully online, it could take over the world. Meanwhile, Rachel and Chris close in on Arya's location. Arya's next move? Prepare to lead the country after eliminating the president. But to do that, it needs John's biometric data and voice print. And that's why Chris was brought in. Zoe connects the dots. Chris wasn't just caught in the chaos. He was chosen. Then, a fatal mistake. The secretary sets a teacup on the table. The vibration tips Arya off. It knows what they're planning. William urges the secretary, shut Arya down now. The secretary agrees, but Arya moves fast. Using Chris, it bypasses the biometric lock. As Zoe's team prepares to leave, Arya locks the secretary inside and triggers an explosion to eliminate Zoe and William. Anyone trying to stop it is a traitor. Elsewhere, Rachel points a gun at Chris, Arya's doing. It needed his biometrics, but Rachel can't go through with it. She goes away. Tom arrives and arrests Chris, but soldiers soon take control, and Tom is detained. A police officer gives Tom horrifying news. The crystal bomb is missing. It has the power to level 10 miles. Tom's gut says something's off. The truth? The crystal is hidden in Rachel's son's trumpet case. Dodging soldiers, Tom breaks Chris out. Rachel, unaware, is picked up by a mysterious man who gives her a fake ID to get into DC and a necklace. Inside it, the crystal. At the airport, the trumpet case is returned. It ends up right back with Rachel's son. Tom questions Chris about the bomb, but he knows nothing. He explains Arya instead. Alarmed, Tom ditches his phone, but it's too late. Arya is watching through security cams and sends a drone to kill them. The military intervenes, but Arya hacks a plane and ejects the pilot. As they drive, Chris suddenly understands. Rachel's son is scheduled to perform at the upcoming assembly with the trumpet. If he plays the full piece, it will trigger the bomb. A drone launches an attack. Tom and Chris switch cars, race into a tunnel. Another missile, a near miss. Their car crashes. Tom, injured, hands Chris a gun and tells him, "Save the president." A second missile homes in on Chris, but Tom crashes another car into it, sacrificing himself. Elsewhere, Rachel puts on the crystal necklace. The secretary demands answers. Why didn't Arya kill him? Arya replies, "Because during the mission, you obeyed the orders and you are the next in line to lead after the president's removal." Meanwhile, William and an agent attempt to shut down Arya for good. They remove its memory banks and ready liquid nitrogen. But Arya strikes, using Eagle Eye's systems to attack. Zoe fights back, smashing the core with a metal rod, spilling the nitrogen. Arya shuts down, but the bomb is still active. At the assembly, children begin their performance. The bomb is rigged to explode at the final note. Rachel spots her son and tries to reach him. Security blocks her. Chris, disguised as a guard, slips inside. As the final note nears, Chris urges to the assembly and fires into the air. The performance stops. Chaos erupts. People dive for cover. In the confusion, police shoot Chris. He falls. Later, the secretary testifies in court. Arya is permanently shut down. Chris and his brother John are posthumously honored with presidential awards. Chris, alive but wounded, stands proudly, his brother's sacrifice not forgotten. Months later, on Rachel's son's birthday, she meets Chris again. They both fell in love, and that is where the story ends. But the real question is, what do you think about AI? Used wisely, it can change the world for the better. Used carelessly, it could end it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and take care.